On Wednesday, CNN will grant the twice impeached, indicted, insurrection-inciting former president an hour-long platform in prime time. According to a press release, CNN will host Trump in New Hampshire, where he will answer questions from New Hampshire Republicans and undeclared voters who plan to vote in the 2024 Republican presidential primary. It is troubling that CNN seems to be participating in the erasure of what happened on January 6th, diminishing the significance of a president of the United States, for the first time in history, seeking to smother American democracy and stop the peaceful transfer of power. What's far more damning is that Trump continues to pose a threat to democracy because he has zero remorse for what happened. In fact, defending the armed insurrectionists who caused millions of dollars of damage and left hundreds of officers injured, along with 5 people dead, has become a key plank of his 2024 election bid.
You get some of these judges that are so nasty and so angry and mean, the sentences. And I will tell you, I will look very, very favorably about full pardons. If I decide to run and if I win, I will be looking very, very strongly about pardons.
Amen.
Full pardons.
Well deserved.
I think that's probably going to be the best, because even if they go for 2 months or 6 months, I mean, you know, they have sentences that go a lot longer than that.
Years and
but
years.
We'll be looking very, very seriously at full pardons, because we can't let that happen. What's happened here, and I mean full pardons with an apology to many.
Ooh, an apology. David Chalian, the political director for CNN, told Vanity Fair that Trump's role in January 6th, quote, makes him a unique candidate, but that it does not make our approach any different, in the sense that we hold every candidate who comes to CNN accountable for their words. Joining me now is Angelo Carusone, president and CEO of Media Matters, and Charlie Sykes, editor-at-large at The Bulwark and an MSNBC contributor. Angelo, let me play you David Zaslav. He's the CEO of Warner Brothers, I think a conservative or libertarian. He's the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. Here he is discussing CNN hosting Trump.
What happened at some of your competitors?
Is a divided government.
Right.
We need to hear both voices. That's what you see. Republicans are on the air on CNN. Democrats are on the air.
MSNBC.
All voices should be heard on. He's the front runner. He
100%.
has to be on.
He has to be.
We're happy that.
Yeah. Well, the last guy would.
Republicans, Democrats, insurrectionists, everybody's on the air. Your thoughts, Angelo?
I mean, I get a little uncomfortable with the false coequivalences and false balance, if that's the position that they've taken, because it's kind of a reflection of the larger posture that CNN has had over the last year or so, which is to basically mollify all of their right-wing critics, or at least to attempt to mollify them by validating even the most bad faith attacks on the network from them, and then shift their focus to try to appeal to them to come back on the channel with all sorts of concessions or sort of gimmies. And I think, you know, yeah, of course he's the Republican frontrunner. There's newsworthiness around it. It is absurd in some ways, but we have to cover it. I appreciate that. What I don't appreciate is the circumstances and the timing. It feels kind of odious, like an attempt to goose their ratings ahead of not just the moment that we're in terms of Fox sort of sliding, but this big upfront event that's happening. So I think that's a part of it, and I find that a little unsettling. And I think the hubbub and the frustration that's out there is as much a reflection of the fact that they're giving Trump airtime as a lack of confidence that CNN's going to do it well. And then the format, which is, you know, they keep saying, well, he's going to answer questions from citizens. You know, it's not about them engaging in journalism. It really is about just giving him sort of a platform. And so it does feel like a laundering. And I think that's fundamentally what the major concern is here.
Yeah, right, and they're making it a big deal, Charlie. I mean, the person who's going to moderate this is formerly of the Daily Caller, you know, their Washington reporter who did the morning show earlier. But it feels to me like this is a pretty open attempt by CNN to push itself to the right and make itself attractive and show its belly to MAGA and to conservatives, hoping that they will tune in. That's what it feels like to me. What does it seem to you?
Well, it feels like horrifically bad judgment to me. Let's be clear about this. This is not journalism. This is entertainment. In journalism, you actually will control the questions and the answers, and you will have some sort of a filter for misinformation. CNN will not be able to filter or control the disinformation that Donald Trump puts out on the air live, and CNN will not even be able to control the kinds of issues that are talked about. In journalism, you would ask him about the 26 women who've alleged sexual assault. You would ask him about whether or not he believes that the Constitution should be terminated. You would ask him about January 6th. You would ask him about pardoning the people that attacked the police officers. will that be what Republican MAGA-leaning voters in New Hampshire are going to discuss? And yet they've given him a full hour of airtime. And Donald Trump knows entertainment. He's allergic to journalism, which is why he's going to love this town hall.
You know, and Angelo, I know for a fact, okay, because I know some folks over there, that some of their own, you know, people over there are very concerned about this as well. They actually have on their list of contributors people who experienced January 6th. They're not getting to have a rebuttal. They're not getting to have equal airtime where they can talk about this. You know, it's pretty clear that what they want is for him to have an unfettered opportunity to say his thing. And they're not giving Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's right, and I think that's all valid. I mean, there's, you know, there are reporters, there are people that are concerned. They have good reason to be, because it's not just that he's out there promoting the same kinds of disinformation. He's using the same strategy that he used last time, but it's even more intense and worse. He's literally trying to organize power on what used to be considered the really far fringes. He's pushed QAnon accounts on his other platforms more than 500 times in the past year. That's exponential increase since 2020 by him. That's not an accident. He's doing it on purpose. He's literally organizing power in what is considered a militarized movement. So this cauldron of extremism, just like your last topic that we've seen swirling and that heat ratcheting up, he's helping raise the temperature. And what CNN does in this forum is not only give him the ability and the mechanics to help do that without any sort of checks on top of it, but worse, they may be playing a big part in helping validate some of those things. We don't know how the guests or the participants are there. A lot of times when these town halls are being done, the campaign gets to fill a large portion of the seats. They haven't gone and said, hey, don't worry, we're not using the same tricks that we have in the past. We're not letting the campaign fill a single seat here. We're going to go out there and do it. What's going to happen afterwards when Trump gets to announce that he went into the belly of the beast and the CNN audience was applauding for him?
Let me read what you said, wrote in The Atlantic, Charlie. After the release of the Access Hollywood tape, the GOP decided that character did not, after all, matter. 7 years later, neither the indictments for paying hush money to a porn star nor the accusations of assault or rape are disqualifying for Republican voters. In the 2024 contest for the presidency, they hardly even register. So it is clear what kind of voters are going to be sitting in that studio. I mean, David Duke ran for governor, and he ran for the United States Senator in the state of Louisiana, and he was the front runner for a while, and he had a good shot at it. Would they give him a town hall if he was a front runner for president?
We don't know. I mean, look, the explanations by CNN are self-contradictory. You had that quote from David Chalian where he says, we understand that Donald Trump is unique, but we're going to treat him like every other candidate. Well, he's not like every other candidate. Every other candidate is not an indicted felon who may be a rapist who tried to overthrow the government. And again, you know, in 1 hour, you know, CNN says that it will hold him accountable, but the amount of disinformation that Donald Trump can utter in 1 hour, I think, will defy their fact-checking ability. And so, you know, once again, we have the triumph of entertainment over journalism, but also since he came down that golden escalator in 2015, you know, America has not apparently learned anything, or apparently CNN has not learned anything.
The one thing Trump ever said that is true is that the media loves him. That is true. Angelo Carusone, at least some of them do. Angelo Carusone, Charlie Sykes, thank you both. Up next, the